Hey everyone, it's Phil here again for your weekly dosage of the top 10 series. Now, don't forget you can get involved in this in the comments or even with a video response. So, without further ado, this week's topic is, of course, top 10 PlayStation 1 role-playing games. Now, this week there are no special rules like there were, and of course there are no spoilers at all. Or at least I've tried to keep it spoiler-free, and I'm sorry if I ruin any of the key moments. But anyway, so without further ado, I bring you the top 10 PlayStation 1 RPGs, in my opinion. So, at number 10, I have a game that I still cannot pronounce to this day. And it is, of course, Suikoden, or however you pronounce the bloody thing. Which is a franchise I've only just started playing, and I have to say, already 30 hours in, I love it. Yes, that's right, I'm only 30 hours in and there is still plenty for me to do, and man oh man do I want to do the entirety of the game. Now I highly recommend that you try this game. I have not looked back in those entire 30 hours and been bored or displeased. So, in at number 9 is one you saw last week, and it is of course the very vibrant Guardians Crusade. Whilst this game is kind of difficult to navigate through the first time, its brilliant story and vibrant locations will have you sucked into its universe in no time at all, along with the awesome characters that embody the world. Baby and the Knight being two of possibly the greatest sort of silent characters you'll ever find. Alright, bad joke alert, you will get used to this in time. If you didn't pick up up on any of the bad jokes I put in the last video, you'll probably pick up on these a bit easier, because I've decided to write in extremely bad jokes. So, that was my warning. I should have really given this at the start of the video, but who cares. Flying in at number 8 is The Legend of Dragoon, which is possibly one of the best 4-disc RPGs available for the PlayStation 1. The great thing about this game is eventually all characters receive a Dragoon spirit. Duh, it's about Dragoons. Which allows them to turn into a Dragoon form, which is brilliant and also gives you a lot of advantage in battle, as well as a lot more to the combat system. Along with its tough, I think it's called Addition combat system, which really did give a lot of depth to this already stunning game. Crashing in through number 7's gates is the fantastic Final Fantasy IX, which has possibly got the best graphic style in the franchise to this date. It had sort of a storybook look to it, you know, those old sort of hand-drawn sort of images you'd get in books. It is basically a giant world that looks like that, and it's mind-blowingly stunning. And, you know, with its gripping storyline, you will see hours disappear as you enter a non-stop trance of gaming. I think I just got 2 bad jokes in there. I'm pretty proud of that. So at junction number 6, we have the brilliant Final Fantasy VIII. Now, what more do I need to say? Yes, there's another Final Fantasy game on this list. I love me some Final Fantasy, so get used to it. This game probably had one of the greatest love stories ever. I mean, the whole Sarah and Snow thing in 13 and 13.2 was kind of boring, and in 13.2, Snow really didn't give a shit, I felt. But in this game, the 2 characters that do fall in love really did sort of emphasize that, and the female character really never stopped giving up trying to get this kind-hearted person that she and only herself had seen to come out and just be himself. And it is definitely an absolutely fantastic tale. Much better than Twilight. Wasn't hard to beat Twilight, but much better than Twilight. So, emerging in number 5 from its cocoon is Jade Cocoon. Yep, I'm definitely going with the bad jokes here. Yeah, so I know a lot of these games were mentioned last week, but who cares? It was a top 10 list of the best games I played in my childhood, and a lot of these games, if you didn't already guess or watch last week's videos, were part of my childhood. But yeah, this game's storyline was fairly simple, but the way it got you gripped was the multiple plot twists that just made the whole thing much more complex. And it's not like, you know, impossibly difficult to figure out, but the complexity added by the twists that they throw in with the characters and the locations really did make this game one of the best RPGs on the console. So, scaling in this top 10 mountain at number 4 is of course Breath of Fire 4. Now, I did mention this game in the last one, and I pretty much was about to say the same thing I did about it, which is it's bloody amazing. But I decided not to. Really, this game has probably one of the best battle systems that I've seen. As I explained in the last video, the whole combo system with the magic is absolutely amazing, and I mean, I'd be quite happy, in fact more than happy, to see this franchise come back. I mean, it's been years since I've seen a Breath of Fire game, and this is definitely my favourite one. Had the best bad guy. I mean, they definitely should get this out again. They should either remake some of the Breath of Fire games or continue the series. It's definitely one to play. Oh yeah, we're in the top 3. So, what's at number 3, you ask? Well, let me just flip over this tarot card and oh look! It's Persona 2. Yep. Persona 2. What a game. Now, this game had one of the most touching stories ever, while also being very complex as well. It wasn't your equivalent of Twilight, where it's just piss easy and a load of shit. This was a really complex story, and as all the Persona games have, really. If you love your games that, if you love stories and epic music and brilliant characters that you really do feel for and they really do come to life, the Persona franchise is definitely for you. This is of course part of the Shin Megami Tensei franchise, so you've got Nocturne and Digital Devil Saga in that as well, and you know, it's amazing. Definitely well worth getting. The gameplay mechanics was probably almost perfect in this one. It's not my favourite, but this is definitely one to play. Okay, so at number 2 is Final Fantasy VII, probably the most loved Final Fantasy game of all time. Now, of course, Square does not want to touch it again. I mean, they recently re-released it, as you can see in this handy little playlist I've included of my Final Fantasy VII 2012 playthrough, where I know a hell of a lot of bugs, mainly graphical, and I just go through the story and enjoy myself, because, hey, it's Final Fantasy VII. Why shouldn't you be enjoying yourself? And even more to the point, it's Final Fantasy. Why aren't you enjoying yourself whilst playing this game? But yeah, the music, the gameplay, the world map. Yes, I said world map. They actually had one of those in this game, unlike today's games. Not that I'm getting on at the new ones, I do like them. It's just I miss world maps, chocobos, if you will, airships, forms of transport, crazy monsters that you can fly into, such as the Ruby and Emerald weapon, who really do kick your ass across the floor, and do require a lot of tactics, and that's why I love Final Fantasy VII. It was really tactical. You know, using a materia system required a lot of logic and a lot of skill, and you could come up with some quite nifty combos, such as, you know, Final Attack on Phoenix, where your party member would use a piece of materia, in this case the Phoenix Summon materia, after they've died. And the Phoenix materia then, of course, once it did damage the enemy, revived everyone, so you didn't game over. And of course, as long as you maxed out your final attack in your Phoenix, you could do it a fair few times, which means you've got kind of a safety net against the weapons. But yeah, that's all for the number 2. What's at number 1? Welcome, he who holds the Spirit Stone. That's right, yet again, at number 1 is Grandia. Now, as you can probably tell, I am possibly the biggest fanboy for Grandia at the moment. That's 2 top 10 videos with Grandia at number 1. But don't fret, next week I won't be doing anything to do with the PlayStation 1 series or anything like that, so, you know, these games from my childhood and my top 10 PlayStation 1 games, this obviously is the last time you'll probably see Grandia, until I mention the video about the fact I'm doing a playthrough of Grandia Redux, which is a thing. It's a mod, basically, that makes the game a lot harder, and as you'll see in the first few episodes when they finally come out, it is quite a bit tougher than it was before. So the reason this game always hits my number 1 list is because the story was just mind-blowing. You know, it was one of the only games where I actually felt like I was on an adventure and I was actually following this adventure, and more to the point, I felt like I was a part of the adventure. You know, traveling from place to place across the sea, ghost ships that were believed to be legends, and all these mythical archaeology place, like dig sites and stuff that were all to do with Angelo, is really one of the main reasons why this game stays with me, is because all of that combined with, you know, the music, the characters, the character development, the battles, the battle systems. No battle was ever boring. I never once got bored grinding on Grandia 1, and that's the main reason why it's possibly the top PlayStation 1 RPG, in my opinion. So I highly recommend you guys get this game. I highly recommend you try it. By guys, I mean guys and girls. I should really start saying that more, because I kind of feel sexist when I don't. And yeah, it's available on the PlayStation Network for about $6.99, $7, but it may be quite a hefty price tag. Some of you may think, but it's well worth getting and well worth trying. And so we've reached the end of week 2 of my top 10 weekly video series. I can't believe I almost forgot the name of that there. I mean, it's not difficult, but yeah, it's been a little while since I've recorded. I am slightly feeling worse than I have done in a while, but yeah, the reason this video is a bit late is I've been away at the weekend and had a bloody good time. You know, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you start getting more involved with the video now that it's a bit shorter and a bit more sort of digestible, rather than me talking on for about 5 minutes about Grandia. Yep, about 5 minutes about Grandia. You know what I'm like. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please take part by sending in a video response to this video, or even in the comments, just write your top 10 down. Do you agree with some of the games I've put in my list? Do you disagree? What would you put in their place? Were any of the games in my top 10 list your favourite? You know, were you a big fan of Grandia like I was, or Final Fantasy VII, or the Persona franchise, or anything like that? You know, just get involved in the comments. Thank you very much for watching as always. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another episode of my top 10 series. Warning, the next top 10 series episode may contain Grandia.